Babylon's Ashes. The sixth chapter in the Expanse. The giant battle between the Free Navy and the Inner Planets explodes. Can Marco Inaros and the newly liberated Belt take hold of the solar system as well as the ring gates? And can they maintain that control? Can the Inner Planets bounce back, put their differences and agendas aside to take him down? Is this book good? Babylon's Ashes is the arc-ending story of Marco and the Free Navy and their tyrannical takeover of the ring gate and the Belt. Earth has been going through some shit. There are giant dust clouds and insane weather due to massive asteroids that the Free Navy hurled at the planet. A lot of people are dead and a lot more are dying. The reunited Rossi crew, once again, surprise, surprise, thrown into the middle of this fight. Old alliances fall apart, new alliances are forged. Will the solar system ever be the same? What is this, book 6? Unfortunately, this might be my least favorite book of the series so far. If there was ever a book in The Expanse that I felt really dragged and it struggled to keep my interest, it's this one. This is easily the most political, kind of quote unquote, but there's a lot of politicking between a lot of different people. Most of the characters that we follow in this, that's their whole arc. They don't do anything other than that. I don't mind politicking. I like it. It can be very intriguing to see what's going on outside of the big giant space battles and the guns and explosions. And I think so far, the authors have done a really good job of balancing those things with every book. But this one is all about the OPA and the Free Navy alliances and the people that are closest to them, people who have gotten dragged into them, people who want out of it. And just how all of those relationships and all of those alliances are evolving as things really ramp up. It's not boring. It's just really long-winded, and the action is pretty light in this one. All that being said, I still think that there's a lot of really great moments in this, a lot of good character development. Some characters that we are kind of familiar with return in this. We get to know them a little more. It's not a bad book. I don't think that this is bad at all. I just don't think that in terms of the quality and from what I've come to expect from this series, I just don't think that it's on the same level. I don't feel that Marco and the Free Navy are strong enough antagonists in this to really warrant this big of a story arc, even though it is only really 2 books. And going back to that whole, what we've come to expect, Marco and the Free Navy, while that kind of makes sense in this story, it just feels a little out of place, lower stakes, kind of just this almost like a speed bump or like a roadblock. The series seemed to be moving in such a big, universe expanding, path, and this just brings us back into the solar system, and it's just humans fighting humans. And while that does make sense, it's kind of like, I don't really care, honestly. It's still exciting when it needs to be. It does a good job. If you want to see my final rating for the book, you can skip ahead. I'll have that timestamp below, but for now, I'm going to get into spoilers. Okay, so I guess we'll just talk about some of the characters in this. Pa being back, she's a cool character, but I really got sick of all the OPA, backstabbing, politicking. I felt like every time that she would come in her chapters, I was like, come on, man. They just dragged and there just wasn't very much excitement with them, even though everything that was happening had some sort of a direct effect or correlation with the larger, OPA takeover Free Navy thing. I just didn't really, I wasn't that interested in it. I'll be totally honest. I was not interested in a lot of what happened in this book. Fred Johnson, RIP to one of the best and most badass characters in this series. Really sad to see Fred go. Every time Fred shows up in these books, always happy to see him. I don't know what it is with the authors killing off their best and brightest characters. They always do this. Miller, Fred, it sucks, but it made sense for the story. I thought his death was impactful. Yeah. So long, brother. Marco Inaros. He totally goes out with a whimper, just a kind of like, you know, blinking out, going through the ring gate. It was fitting for his character, but ultimately it just felt like so unnecessary. Like, I did not care for this character at all. He's just a megalomaniac asshole. The link between him and Naomi, like, oh, of course, Naomi is Marco's former lover and baby mama. Like, it ultimately doesn't really matter. I just didn't feel a lot of impact from any of this, in the grand scheme of things. And outside of Marco, we have Philip and Naomi's connection to this, son that she's like estranged to because he's been brainwashed by her baby daddy. Fuck Philip. I did not care about this character one bit. Like, I understand Naomi's like emotional responses and her like wanting to like save her son, but that doesn't happen at all. Philip at the end finally does like leave the Free Navy and set out on his own course, and he changes his name to Nagata. But spoiler alert, we never see Philip ever again. He never shows up again. I finished the series. Just in case you're wondering, sorry, big spoiler here for the read-on. He never comes back. He's inconsequential. This character does not matter. I just didn't care for him. He just seemed like a jerk and a dickhead, and I felt like his arc was also just like, yeah. I'm glad that he kind of turned away from the Free Navy, but ultimately, I don't care what he does. Because just like his dad, he's also an asshole. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say. I didn't feel like this book had a huge impact on me. I think that some of the action in this is really good. I did really love, you know, Bobby really kind of staking her place in the Rossi crew. And also the attack on Medina Station. And that whole, like, the whole ending is really pretty good. It's pretty fun. But man, does it take its sweet time to get there. Yeah, I just kind of felt like these last two books, I thought Nemesis Games was great. That was awesome. But this coming right after that, just a real fart noise of a book by comparison. Such an exciting, fun, great book before it. To go to this was a little disappointing. Overall, I gave Babylon's Ashes a 3.5 out of 5, which might be even a little too generous. It's probably more of a 3 in hindsight. But I feel like Nemesis Games and Babylon's Ashes could have just been one book, or maybe not in the series at all. I just don't think the stakes were very high in this compared to everything else that's happened so far. You know, it's just like this hostile takeover of a bunch of rink-a-dink rebels. And they ultimately kind of don't do anything. It's really long-winded, really drawn out, pretty whatever. But what do you think? Have you read Babylon's Ashes? Did you like it more than I did? Let me know what your thoughts are on the book down below. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and as always, thanks for watching. Bye.